Willie D Live.
What's up, family? After punching the Buffalo Bills' Zach Davison during a preseason football game, Shiloh Sanders was cut by the Cleveland Browns, and he refuses to apologize. I ain't got no problem with that. Now, he refuses to apologize as far as I know. I have not seen an apology yet. You know, this is the age of the internet, so things happen, change just like that. But as far as I know, he has not apologized for his actions. Some people say, what do we have to apologize for? He did nothing wrong. Okay. Look, fam, I'm a Shiloh Sanders fan, and I'm rooting for him all the way. But what I seen him do on that field was lose his cool. And that cost him millions of dollars, potentially, because, see, we don't know if Shiloh would have made the team. The Browns head coach Todd Boyles had already said he was going to cut his team roster down to 53 men by August 29th. And from what I understand, Shiloh was not playing all that well, so he was not guaranteed to make the team anyway. So one could look at it like Shiloh was like, man, I ain't got nothing to lose. No, they ain't giving me enough reps anyway for me to get out. So they're probably going to cut me anyway. But having said that, I didn't see Shiloh do anything particularly egregious. I see these dudes playing like that all the time, a bunch of pushing and shoving, and then a swing or two. You hit a dude in the helmet, it don't hurt. You hit him in the helmet with his hand. He hurt his hand more than he hurt the guy. And by the way, Zach, his opponent, he is the one who initiated the incident. He was the one who was still pushing after the whistle had blown. He was the one to throw the first punch. Now, the fact that they only ejected Shiloh, that's suspicious. It's like everybody's paying attention to what Shiloh did, but nobody is paying attention to what happened to provoke him to do what he did. And let's say the ref missed it. That's why you got instant replay. Isn't that what that's for? Like if you miss something, you go back and make sure you got it right. Okay, you get out too. You know, if you're gonna eject one, you definitely gotta eject the guy who threw the first punch, right? But they didn't do that. But the Lord works in mysterious ways. Zach was also cut. Zach was cut by the Buffalo Bills, which, in my opinion, debunks the theory that some people had out there that perhaps there was a collusion between the Cleveland Browns, the Buffalo Bills, and Zach. Now that Zach is out of the picture, you still got the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills left. So think about it, fam. Think about this. What if the Buffalo Bills already know that they're going to let this guy Zach go because he ain't playing all of that well, even though he caught a touchdown in preseason, the first game of preseason. He ain't all of that, and they're probably going to let him go. We're going to let him go, right? And Cleveland wants to get rid of Shiloh. They ain't just trying to figure out how to do it smooth, in a smooth way where it don't look like they're the villains. They get together and say, look, we're going to tell our guy to go hard against your guy. And then when your guy retaliates, your guy gets kicked out of the game. Our guy probably get kicked out of the game too, and we get to cut both of them. But their guy, the Buffalo Bills guy, didn't get kicked out of the game. So the Buffalo Bills had to go ahead on and cut him based strictly on performance. They could go ahead and say we're cutting him because, he didn't perform well, Plus, this guy has been plagued with injuries in the past, so perhaps that has something to do with their call also. But in any event, I think it's very plausible that the two teams colluded to get rid of Shiloh. That's right, I said it. I know y'all don't like that type of talk. Some of y'all don't. Y'all want to hear that. That truth be pissing y'all off, man. Well, why would they collude? Why would they? The same reason why they colluded against his brother, who was projected to go 1, 2, 3 in the NFL draft. Definitely a first rounder. And he slips all the way to the 5th round. He goes from a first round pick, top 5 at least, to a 5th round, 144th pick. Never happened before in the history of football where a player was projected to go that high and slip that low, and he didn't have some type of criminal case pending against him, or he didn't have a major injury. That's never happened before. The owners, the NFL owners, they colluded. They got together. I do believe, this is my belief, I believe they all got together and said, we're not going to pick him. We're not going to pick him. If there's something floating around, if he's floating around in the 5th round, after the 5th round, he's free game. But we all going to make a pact that we're not going to pick him in the first 4 rounds. And I think that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. Because otherwise, it makes no sense. It makes 0 sense. And the only reason why they did that is because Shiloh Sanders stood on business. Shiloh Sanders stood on business. His daddy stood on business. Now, you put Deion Sanders' mentality in the body or in the head of a white man, and he's going to be praised and saluted. I already got an example. We all got an example. Archie Manning and his boys. They told the NFL where they're not going to play and where they wanted to play. And that's what happened. They not only did not criticize them or demean them or try to hard check them, they accommodated them. Yeah, they accommodated them. Okay, we really like to have your son play. We really like your son. Where you want to play at again? I want to play here. I want to play here. Okay, good. We worked out something. We worked out something, Mr. Manning, to please you. I don't like the NFL at all. I don't like the whole setup. I don't like the way that they treat the players, and I know it takes 2 to tango, so the players got to be in agreement with it in order for it to happen to them. And I'm not saying in a verbal agreement, but by their actions, allowing something like that to happen and it go unchecked. Not having the courage to walk out, to hold out until you get what you want. See, the NFL is trash without the black players. There is no way possible. Nobody would be watching the NFL because it just wouldn't be interesting. The NFL would tank overnight. The NFL owes Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, one could argue at times, was the sole reason some people tuned in to watch football games when he was in his prime. Deion Sanders was indeed prime time. He was indeed a highlight reel. And people tuned in by the millions to watch him. And the NFL made millions, if not billions, off Deion Sanders. But those ungrateful bastards never liked him. They never liked the fact that they had to deal with him because he was just that talented. And that's the thing. When you got the odds stacked against you and you get an opportunity, you cannot afford to make mistakes because they didn't want you to have that opportunity in the first place. So you cannot put yourself in a position to squander that opportunity. Hindsight is 2020. I think Shiloh did what most 99% of all players would have done. And that was protect himself against an attack. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.